And there we are. Good evening. How is everybody doing? I hope you guys are having had a good weekend. It's Sunday night already. Time goes by so freaking fast. It's ridiculous. Ah, so anyway, good to see everybody. I know my live streams are not as consistent as they used to be, and they're not going to continue to be consistent. I can tell you for this week coming up. Tomorrow I will be doing my live stream for my hardcore members, and then I will be live streaming on Wednesday of this week. Definitely will not be live streaming next Friday or probably next Sunday either. It's going to kind of depend. Sunday maybe, maybe not. We'll have to we're going to have to play that one by ear. But anyway, so just letting you know, I will be live streaming for my hardcore members tomorrow night. I already have that set up, so hopefully those notifications went out to them. And then I will be live streaming on Friday, or not Friday, I mean Wednesday. Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, I will be live streaming then as well. So, having said that, we will go from there. So, anyway, moving forward, I would like to remind everybody that this is a very family friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches are going to boot you out of here because we're not going to tolerate it. All right. So let's just be decent to each other and we'll be okay. If you have any questions, all cap locks, please, so that it stands out for me. It makes it easier. I can see things better when you guys do all cap locks. I got to turn this fan on real quick, so hold on 1 second. I just put it on low so I have some circulation blowing instead of high. Today was much cooler day down here at the homestead. It was actually felt really, really good. It was weird because today actually felt like fall. We were low 70s. Maybe we got up to 72 today. We were in the 50s last night, so it was like really great for sleeping. So that was interesting from that perspective of it. So yeah, that was good. But all right. Also, I did want to make a quick announcement. John from Florida did a donation to my PayPal. So I wanted to thank John. If you guys saw my video, I did receive a couple of donations and I bought food with that because that's what I was asked to do. And so that's what I did with that. So that was just a stocking up video. And uh, nope, we didn't get any rain from the storm. Nope. Friday, initially, they were saying it was going to rain all day here Friday, and it never did. So it was really weird. So it was two people, Lady Kicks. Full of Hope was one of them that donated, and the other one was John. They both donated $100, and I took that 200 and I went and got more food. So that and somebody had made a comment. They said, "Is that food for you or is it for the group?" Well, I'm going to make something so that people understand, kind of, in a way. Uh, there is, and we had some discussions this weekend as a group, and the people that weren't able to make it this weekend, I'm going to be calling them and talking with them as well. But we were talking of the importance of getting a certain amount of food down here. Everybody needs to have a certain amount. Now, people all have some food down here, but we've really been talking about getting stocked up, especially now that more people have buildings down here. So we've been talking about the importance of getting stocked up down here. And, because when that time comes, you don't know if you're going to be able to get down here with a vehicle or a trailer. And there may not be able to be one last big trip where you bring all kinds of stuff down. If it's already here, then you don't have to worry about it. So I've never seen it so dry here in West Virginia. I see rain next week, but it always peters out. Yeah, it's this summer. What is the goal per person? This is a great question, JJ. Thank you for asking that. What I'm basically, and so what I've talked about is this: each person in a group is probably going to bring family members with them. Okay. So for everybody that they bring down, including themselves, there needs to be a minimum, okay, a minimum of 3 months supply of food per person. Now that could end up being a whole lot of food depending on how many people you're bringing down, but it's not the rest of the group's responsibility to take care of the family members that you plan on bringing down with you. Now, obviously, this is a bug out location, so obviously they're going to bring their husbands, wives, children, whoever. Okay, and I get that. I completely get that. Things go sideways. I have hopefully Heather and her boyfriend, my sister and her fiance and his son. Right, so there's five. Grandma, mom, so there's six. My niece Jeannie would be seven, and she still has two boys at home, so that would be, 8 and 9, and possibly her other son as well. So, I mean, there's a possibility that I could have 10 family members coming down here when things go sideways. Do I have the food to feed those 10 family members? I do. Um, but the thing is, there's no guarantee that everybody's making it down, obviously. Uh, you know, I've had some conversations with my daughter. I've had conversations with my sister, my niece, and all those people. We've kind of got a game plan um, for when that time comes. But it's really, really important. What about your other sister? Yes, Margie. Margie, I would want her down here as well. Yes. Yep. I wasn't trying to skip Margie. Margie is living just outside the city of Rochester, the town I used to live in, Greece, New York. She lives in Greece, New York. Hopefully, if that time came, that she could get down to the other property first, team up, and they can caravan down here. But I'll tell you what I've told my daughter. Okay, what I told my daughter was this: if I call you and I say get here now, I don't care if you're at work, I don't care what you're doing, you pack up your car, you get on the road, and you get on the way down here. That's what I've talked about. But anyway, going back to the food. So a minimum of 3 months of food per person that you plan on bringing here. Now, I would highly encourage them to add more. And we've had some other discussions of what we're going to be doing as a group. And I'm not really going to discuss that part of it on here. That's between myself and the group. And so, there's certain things that we're not going to share. But there was another question brought up. And we're going to get into the topic of this live stream, I promise you. It's not going to be all talking about the group for the entire hour. But there was a question brought up, okay? And they said, somebody had asked, what happens if something happens to me? Is the group left high and dry after investing all this money, into the property? We have a plan in place. Heather knows what my wishes are. All right. That is between me, my group, and my daughter. Anybody else's business, it's not. If you were part of this group, you would be privy to that information. But I already discussed it in a previous video. So if you're really that hot and bothered and want to find out what our game plan is, I did talk about it in a previous video, but I'm not going to talk about it again. That is something that's already been addressed and is taken care of. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But there is a game plan in place as far as that goes as well. Now, that being said, I have no intention of going anywhere, hopefully for a very, very long time. But of course, we never know. So, life is interesting, and things can end in the blink of an eye. There's no guarantee of anything. So anyway, but that is what's happening with that aspect of it. But we are getting things squared away, trying to get things in place, doing what we need to do, and we're getting there. It's the things that the people don't understand. Things do not happen overnight, and they're never going to happen overnight. It's just it is a process, and we're doing the best that we can, and hopefully everything works out the way that we want to. So. But anyway, I want to get into the topic of this live stream, okay? Because I have some thoughts on this, and I want to kind of talk with you guys about it and get your feedback. I definitely want your feedback as well, as far as what you think. So obviously, massive protest over in the UK, and they're calling them riots. And they probably were riotous. There was, bad things happening and all that type of stuff. And it was people in the UK, a large percentage of people are very, very tired of the immigrants coming in, getting all kinds of benefits, and the people of the UK not getting benefits, and they're taking care of these immigrants, illegal immigrants too, by the way, just coming in. They're just taking care of them, just like in the United States, right? So, uh, according to the news media, right? If you watch the mainstream news media, it's a far right that is protesting. I think that you have a lot more people that are protesting than just the far right, if they're unhappy with the situation over there. Of course, they're going to vilify. See, and this is what I find interesting, folks, and I'm gonna address this too. Now they're going on the news and they're saying that these far right protesters, we're going to find out who they are and they're going to be prosecuted and they're going to go to jail and all this type of stuff. Why is it? And this is interesting. I just find this interesting. This is just a question. Why is it when the right does something, they get prosecuted to the full letter of the law and beyond, but when the left pillages and burns and protests and does heinous acts against other human beings, oh, they're let go and it's perfectly fine. You know, why is that? Hmm? And that's a question. Double standard, absolutely, Whispering Pines. But that is the way that it is. And that's what's kind of, and again, when you watch the news and you hear about what's going on over in the UK, you're getting the version of what they want you to hear. That's the biggest thing you've got to understand. I think a lot of it is frustration, to be honest with you. I think people are frustrated. I know the people in the United States are frustrated. I tried to, I was talking to somebody, I was having a conversation with them, and I said, you got to understand something. We have 10,000 people a day coming across the southern border. We're not even talking about the northern border. Nobody talks about Canada and how people are coming across from up there too. Because guess what? They sure are. Okay, they're coming from up there too. A lot more low key, not as much publicity, but that is happening up there as well. But why has the UK law enforcement said they will protest mosques but not churches or synagogues? I find that also very interesting, Okie Forge. Very interesting. Yeah, isn't that nice? But anyway, I was talking how we got 10,000 people a day coming across the southern border. It's not sustainable. We cannot continue to do it and be able to take care of these people and give them free health care and give them free everything. Because guess who's paying for that? We are. The taxpayers are paying for that. And I don't remember, them coming to me and asking me my opinion of squat. They're just letting these people in. And this is a huge emergency that's not being dealt with at all. At all. And, Harris was the border czar. Or I don't know if she still technically is the border czar, but it's very well documented that she is the border czar. So now when, if you go on CNN and all these other channels, they're saying, oh, no, no, she wasn't the border czar. Well, the information is there, folks. If you do your research, really do your research before they try to erase everything, you will see that, yes, she was the border czar. I don't know technically if she still is or not, but, it's just, yeah, I saw that, Dawn Hill. She's trying to now say that, yeah, they're stealing Trump's idea when Trump said that, if he's elected, waiters and waitresses are not going to have to pay taxes on their tips. And now she's coming out with saying that that's what she wants to do. Well, nothing wrong with stealing somebody else's idea, right? I guess it's perfectly fine to do that. But what's going on cannot continue to go on. Something has to give. And that's a fact. That is a fact. These people would not be coming in here And let's be realistic about stuff. What do you think that it could possibly be? Who benefits? Who benefits from all these people coming across the border? Two groups of people benefit, right? The Democrats are going to benefit because they're going to make sure that they can vote, right? And they can swing elections in different places, and those people are being spread out, folks, to every state out there. They're not limited to California and Arizona and Texas. They're not limited to just down there. They're being sent everywhere, everywhere, okay? Because they can make a difference as far as voting stuff goes. And again, I have such a huge issue with, you know, you don't have to have an ID to vote. What is that nonsense? You got to have an ID to do everything else in this country. You know, you have to have a proof of what when you're driving. Let's give it a good example. When you're driving, what do you have to have? You better have your driver's license, proof that you have a driver's license. You better have proof of insurance, and you better have the proof that your vehicle is registered, right? Because those are like more taxes that they use on us, and it's a game. It's an absolute game. And that's been going on forever, and we've just accepted it. But now to vote, you don't have to have an identification. And I love how the left spins that and say, well, that's racist. How is it racist to prove that you're an American? I don't see how that's racist at all. So it's just, there's a lot of games being played constantly. And we sit back and we watch it and we just sit here and go, oh my God, this is insanity. But nothing is being done. Nothing is changing. Okay. Nothing is changing. So I think that, would it shock me if you we saw that same type of stuff here in the United States? It wouldn't shock me at all. But I was going to say, I'm sorry. So you had the one benefit from that. The other benefit for bringing all these illegals in here is big business. I mean, you've already seen that when these different companies are being given incentives to bring these people in and hire them. They're going to work for a lot less. They're not going to care about anything because they're here illegally, and they don't want to cause waves or cause problems. So, House Resolution 253 states she's the border czar. There you go. Thank you, Barbara. Appreciate that information. And so I mean, like I said, if I was lying and making up something, they would give me a strike on it because that would be a falsehood. I know she was the border czar. She was appointed the border czar by Biden. So, and how many times has she visited the border? Right? What has she done? What's changed? That's another. These are just questions. So, but I don't know. Like I said, the whole thing is insane, and it's not going to change. And until something gives, until people have said enough is enough, nothing is going to change. So it's just, it'll be interesting moving forward. But I'm just going to give you my advice. Okay, you can do, folks. Listen, I'm going to give you advice. You can take it. You can not take it. You can do whatever you want to do with it. It is completely 100% up to you. I feel that it's going to be a very interesting end of this year. And I would highly recommend that you get your houses in order before the election. All right. I would highly recommend that you do that. And so, what do I mean by getting your houses in order? Get the supplies that you need. If look at your. So here's another good example, right? So, what do we stock up on, right? What do we stock up on? We have water filtration. We make sure that we have you know, band-aids and then bullets, right? Beans, band-aids, and bullets. That's the whole focus for so many people. Just those things. What about toiletries? What about making sure that you have plenty of toothpaste, that you have plenty of deodorant, that you have plenty of razors, and in those things that are going to see, again, these are things that keep things normal. The normalcy in a post lunatic world is going to be really, really important. Did you hear Carmela's response when called out not being at the border? She said she hadn't been to Europe either. I did see that, Lori. So I mean, that just goes to show you, you know, yeah. But yeah, it's just yeah, I did see her response to that. And again, they try to double speak and dance around things and not ever give you a straight answer. If politicians were honest and just gave straight answers, that'd be great. You ever hear these people that go before Congress and the Senate and they dance around questions, and the different congressmen and congresswomen or senators or Senate women will say it's a yes or no question, and they still won't answer it. you know, so I mean, it's insanity, the whole way around. But I'm going to encourage you all to do everything in your power to get your things squared away as much as you possibly can before this election happens. Um, we are trying to do that down here. I'll be honest with you, and we are putting game plans into place. Things are getting kind of like locked in now, and that's what we're doing. We're trying to get things squared away. And baking soda is so important. It can be used for toothpaste, 1 tablespoon and water per day to alkaline your body, cleanse things, baking. Oh yeah, yeah, baking soda is a big one. So, but Lady Kick says, "I've noticed you're full steam ahead." We have been cranking things out. Yes, this weekend we had, and you'll be seeing the upcoming videos. We had more gravel brought in for different sites. We had the Bobcat guy in here this weekend. He was here all day Saturday and getting things in place where we want them to be in place. And you'll see that in upcoming videos. There'll be videos. I did a bunch of videos, and you'll see that coming up. But, we are trying to, and then, like I said, we're having some tough conversations. And, it's really important conversations. And, just trying to get things ready to go. Having some type of solar power battery and panels in case of SHTF would be a plus. Even if it's a small battery and panels, it would be better than nothing. Yes, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Uh, what I'm trying to what I'm trying to do with my group, like, obviously we're trying to get more food down here, get that stocked up. Water, we're in the right direction with water. We have a bunch of tanks. I know that, Bud was hooking up his other tank, getting his other gutter up on the other side and fixing the one gutter. So he'll be getting, water. What was your question, Marianne? I missed it. Go ahead, say it again so I can see it. Ask me your question again. But he's getting his water hooked up now. We have, the other tanks that, well, in front of the pavilion, the Raven's Nest, those are all full. The water tank over here has got some water in it. We haven't had a ton of rain, so, um, you know. But yeah, Trump did the no taxes thing first. You're right, right. Now all of a sudden they're trying to steal his ideas. So it's I think it's very funny. But anyway, I just have one large bag for 2 people. You should have a lot of baking soda. I think it's a really good idea to have quite a bit. Uh, but anyway, going back to what I was saying, guys. So water, we're focusing on that. Food, we're focusing on that. The other thing that we're working on too is getting people's wood stoves and all that type of setup ahead of time. Salt's important too. Absolutely, salt's very, very important. But yeah, it's just there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things. Medical supplies are important. Having enough medical supplies, having antibiotics, knowing different ways to treat ailments when there's no more medicine coming from big pharma. Those are things that definitely have to keep an eye on as well. So, but iodized salt is definitely important. I trying to remember how much iodized salt that I have altogether. I think I'm north of 250 pounds, maybe, of iodized salt. I used to get it at Sam's Club in 4 pound. They come in a 4 pound thing. It was like 99 cents, I believe, at the time when I bought a lot of it, and I just vacuum sealed it and stuck it in a bucket because I figured at the time, dang, I thought I had a lot of salt at 10 pounds. Yeah, like I said, I don't. When I do something, folks, I don't screw around. I really don't. I overdo because I my thought process is always the same. How long? No guarantee the society's going to come back, and you need that iodine in your diet. So, we're not going to be, a lot of us are not going to be near the ocean where we can fish and stuff like that. So we have to, plan ahead for those type of things. But anyway, it's just, you need to continue to prepare the best you can. Try to be diversified as you possibly can. With the folks down here getting clothing, just clothing, right? I mean, because you're not so let's say, and I'm going to give an example of something. SHTF happens tomorrow, right? What are you packing up in that last carload? What are you packing up in that last carload to bring down to your bug out location? And you got to think about that. Are you going to be worried about clothes? Probably not. You're going to probably baloney, exactly. You're going to probably bring as much food as you possibly can. Your pets, most people are going to want to have their pets, and all those type of things. Your kids and everybody, and jam everybody in, and you're going to try to get as much. If you have ammo and guns and whatever the case may be, you're going to want to try to get as much of that stuff down as you possibly can. If you have a lot of stuff down here already, you know, yeah, I live at my bug out location, so I'm going to bug in. Well, that's the game plan. Um, Obviously, this is my bug out location. I'm here living. If you can do it, folks, if you can live at your bug out location full time, that's great because then all your stuff is there, you know, and that's a really good thing. Now, I still have a lot of stuff in New York. When I go back to New York the next time, I will get more. That's just the way it's going to be. And so, I haven't been back to New York since last November. So, I'm going to try to get up there again, and we're going to see what happens. So, but in the meantime, we will focus on what we can focus down here, control what we can control down here. Whatever's going to happen in the world, folks, is going to happen in the world. You stressing and worrying about that is going to change nothing. It's not going to change anything. Now, you can see what's going on. Hopefully, you're paying attention, and it's going to motivate you to do something about it. See, that's the beauty. The ball is in your hand right now. The ball's in your hand. You can do whatever you want to do. You want to jump in the game and play, you can jump in the game and play. If you want to sit back and go, oh, nothing's ever going to happen, it's going to be great, go ahead and do that. Because when the time comes, you reap what you sow. That's the reality. You reap what you sow. And so I'm going to give you an example of something, like as far as my group goes. I'm trying now to head off problems that could potentially come down the road. So I have basically set a deadline, and the people that weren't here this weekend don't know this yet, and they will. Um, you know, I will be talking to everybody, so I'll catch them up to speed. But I've set a deadline that they need to have that certain number amount of food per person that they plan on bringing down here by a certain date. They need to do that. And the reason why is because then everybody at least has this level here of food. Now, if they bring more than that, great. That's fantastic. If they bring more, that's just fantastic. But if you have, and I'm going to give you an example, let's say you have 10 people in your group. Let's say you have 10 people, and you have 5 of those 10 people that are loaded up with food. They got all kinds of food on location, they're ready to go, and you have 5 that have done nothing. SHTF happens. Now everybody's down here. You have those 5 members that now have also brought family members with them that have done nothing as far as food goes, right? What's that going to cause? That's going to cause a lot of resentment, a lot of hurt feelings, because the people that have done something would be like, well, why do I have to take care of them? They're not my responsibility. So you know what I mean? So if everybody has at least this level right here, right? Everybody's responsible to have this level. And if you don't have this level, you have no reason to be here, right? I mean, is that not fair? In my opinion, it's very fair. So there is been a level determined, and there has been a date determined. And the other members of my group that were not here this weekend, like I said, I plan on calling all of them and discussing with them where they need to be. And here's the other thing with it. Let's say, and I'm going to make another point here in a second with this, but let's say they're making a genuine effort, and maybe at that deadline they don't have it exactly where they need to be, right? You give them some leeway, but as long as they're making the effort to do that, then it is, you go, okay, they got 2 months a supply of food per person. But here's the other part of it, and we were having a discussion with our meeting that we had. So here was the discussion. Had one of my members said, well, it might be difficult for them to get that amount of food, right? And I said, let me ask you a question. And I just picked one of my members, and I said to him, how much food do you have at your place right now? And they said, a year's worth. I said, okay. If you're a prepper and you want to be part of a prepper group, most likely you have a stockpile of food at home. Okay. Is that doing any good at your bug out location? Is there any guarantee that you're going to be able to get what you need to get to the bug out location when the time comes? There's absolutely no guarantee of that. So if they have to have a certain amount of food here, then it's here. Okay. And they should already have it because they are calling themselves a prepper. So they're not, it doesn't, the excuse of, well, I don't have it, I don't have that. Well, if you don't have 3 months supply of food already, there's an issue. You're not really a prepper. Okay, you're not a prepper. So it shouldn't be, they should already have those things stockpiled. So to get them down here on site is really, really important. And that's my take on that. And so again, I'm not looking for excuses. I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear people say, well, it coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's not cutting it. Okay. Because I will tell you this, if I have a group member, I'll just give you an example. If I have a group member that has done absolutely nothing by the time the deadline comes, I don't care if they got a building in here or not, they can take their building and they can get the heck out of here because they're not serious. They're not serious. Okay. This is not a game, folks. This is not a game. This is serious business. What we're trying to do down here is look at the big picture, realize how bad things could be, and try to be as ready as we possibly can be for such an event if it were to happen. Now, I will tell you again, I hope nothing ever happens. I hope nothing ever happens. And I hope we can come down here and enjoy years and years and years. If we got that kind of time, this place will be freaking paradise in 2 to 3 years. I mean, we've come a long way in a couple of years already, but with another 3 month supply is 500 pounds of food. The average American eats 2,000 pounds of food per year. Okay, Okie Fords, that makes sense. No, that makes sense. So it's there's an old saying, okay, and I'm going to swear here for a minute, um, just so to make my point. It's time to shit or get off the pot. Okay. So we're going to see who's serious and who's not serious. And that's what it comes down to. Okay. And like I said, I have a lot of food here, folks. Okay. I got a lot of food here, but I'm not taking care of everybody. My job is not to feed everybody in the group because that food would be gone very, very quickly. So people need to do their part. Um, Ed, do you have a plan to accommodate Heather in your place as far as supplies go Will she bring supplies, or will there be enough for her at your location? Lori, there's enough food here already for my family to come down here and be perfectly fine. I'll give you an example of something, okay? I had somebody several years ago donated, lady from Canada, donated um, a year's supply of freeze dried food for 4 people for a year. That's what she gave me. All that food, just that alone, that's already down here. Okay, so technically, 4 years of four people for a year, you could do 12 people for 3 months. Okay, so right there, just that doesn't count the freeze dried food that I have. That doesn't count the number 10 cans that I've acquired through the years. That doesn't count all the rice and the beans and everything else and all the canned goods and everything else. So, that doesn't count any of that. So, yeah, do I have enough food to feed every single member of my family that comes down here? Yes, I do. Okay. Now, I want to be able to help my group as well if I have to. Obviously, the time comes, I definitely want to do that. Um, Ed, is it best to put gravel under my building? Does it help with mold? I am having problems with mold. Can you give me ideas, please? I think you should have gravel under your buildings if you're having a building. I think it makes more sense. It's going to cause less problems, and then also for drainage as well. It's not a bad thing. I remember when you had a basement with food and grease. Yeah, real freedom. Yep. And a lot of those buckets that I had in Greece are here now. And I actually opened a couple of those buckets up to show, and I did it on video, that these were buckets that were 10 and 12 years old, and the food was still perfectly fine in them. So yeah, there was, that's not a problem as far as that goes. But I'll tell you what, freeze dried foods, I'll make a couple of recommendations. You guys can take it, leave it. I don't care what you do. Mountain House is good. Augustin Farms is good. And Legacy freeze dried food is good. Those are the three that I would recommend. Legacy has the largest portion size. I will tell you that because that's the truth, okay? You guys can do whatever you want to do. It's up to you. I'm not you. I'm not going to tell you you have to do this. I would never tell you what you have to do. I'm going to give you suggestions. I'm going to give you advice. If you take the advice, great. If you don't take the advice, that's perfectly fine because it doesn't affect me. Okay. Now, as far as my group goes, yeah, it does affect me. So, Sandy said, "Are you going to have another sale soon?" I can. I mean, see, here's the thing, guys. If somebody really wants some legacy freeze dried food, I can give you a discount when if you contact me and you say, "Ed, I want to buy XYZ amount," I can give you a discount on it. So, what do you think of spam? We do have spam down here on site. I'm not a huge fan of spam myself. The other thing that I would tell you guys is this, okay? Stock up on what you like, okay? Stock up on what you like. I'm going to show you something. I went out. What day do we go? We went out Saturday, and we had to go to Lowe's and get some supplies for here, for two different group members. Okay. Well, when we were out, I stopped at Walmart, and I'm going to show you one of the things that I got when I was at Walmart. They had the throwback for the Chef Boyardee mini raviolis and the regular size raviolis, $1 a can. All right. $1 a can. I was like, oh my God. Now, do I have a lot of this already? Yes, I do. But guess what, folks? I bought 12 more cans. All right. Because, okay, so this can, I'll give you an example. This per container, that's 320 calories right there. 320 calories. So, could I eat this cold? Yes. Will it taste better if I heat it up? Yes. Do I like this? Yes. That's why I bought it. Okay. If there's stuff that you like, I highly recommend that you buy it. So, it just getting stocked up it's important. It really truly is. What you have to look at No, and get your prescriptions through Jace Medical. Yes, Jace Medical, I would highly recommend them. Is it expensive? Yes, it is. But you can get stocked up on stuff that you need through or Jace Medical. You can. So, um, I'm thinking of raising rabbits for meat. What type of rabbits would do you buy? I Rabbits are good, but you have to understand something. Rabbits are very lean, no fat on them. So you can starve to death just eating rabbit, okay? You have to have fat in your diet. You have to have fat in your diet. So that's why when I was buying stuff, guys, okay, like with the salmon, for an example, salmon's got a lot of proteins. It's got the oils that you're going to need. It's got the fattiness that you're going to need. That's important. So, you have to look at everything overall, what you're going to be taking. And I want you to think of something. The average American, they say, needs 2,000 calories per day to survive. Somebody who's working on a regular basis, heavy labor, doing stuff outside and stuff like that, you're talking between 4,000 and 5,000 calories a day. So that's something you got to think about as well. You're going to need to make sure that you have enough stockpile. Don't stockpile for 1,200 calories or 2,000 calories a day. Stockpile for more, because if you're very active, which you will be in an SHDF event, you're going to need those calories to keep you going. Really important. I think rabbits are great to have, absolutely great to have. Rabbit poop is probably one of the best things that you can do for your. The crops are doing great, Alex. I'll have to do a video and show you the garden. The garden looks fantastic. Um, but you know, having the rabbit poop is great for your gardens. So those are things too. Get your gardens ready. Figure out where you're going to go with what. Like this year, when the leaves fall off this fall, folks, don't rake them up and put them on the curb like all the morons do. That is something that you can put into your raised beds, cover it up. It's going to break down over the winter and it's going to help your soil. Okay. I always used to drive me insane when I would see people just bagged it up on the curb and, you know, uh, do you do they make food pills that have food in them? Once you swallow it, the pill it fills up your stomach? I don't think so, Brad. I've never heard of anything like that. So yeah, I've never heard of anything like that. But again, get the things that you need to get. You know, wool. Think about that, right? Get sheep if people always get goats. Goats are great, but goats try to escape, and you can get milk from goats. But guess what? You can get milk from sheep as well. Um, with sheep, you're going to also get wool. Eventually, your clothes are going to wear out. They're going to wear. I don't care how many clothes you got. Eventually, they're going to wear out. And what are you going to do then for clothing? So I've really contemplated, at some point adding sheep to what we have here. So, I mean, we're trying to get things squared away, and getting these buildings squared away, and getting these people up to where they need to be with these buildings. And it's important, and it's a lot of work. I mean, getting a building in here now, you have, if unless some of the people have paid their buildings off in full when they got them. Well, not everybody can do that. Okay, not everybody can do that. So a lot of people are having to have a payment. So now they have a building payment. Well, now you have a building in here. Fire it if you want to have electricity. You got to get it insulated if you want to make sure that it stays warm or cool depending on the time of year. You should get a wood stove in there, right? I mean, there's so many things that go along with it. And now you got to stock it, right? So you're going to probably want to have a bed in there. That's probably a smart thing to do. But, there's a lot of things that go with it that people just don't think about. Like I said, toiletries is a big thing. Toothpaste, toilet paper, and people say, oh, well, you can use rags and stuff like that. Well, I'm going to tell you what, as long as I can use toilet paper, I want to use toilet paper. So if I stock up on toilet paper, then I think, that's my choice. I like Kleenex, so I will stock up on Kleenex. I've always done that. And so those are, again, personal preference. You guys can do, again, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. What level of prepping you want to take anything to is going to be your choice. I will give you suggestions. You have to understand something. We were having a conversation basically down here. We're talking about, SHTF happens, right? It's going to be an adjustment. It's going to be an adjustment. But guess what? You know what the adjustment is for me? It means I don't leave, number one, which, ooh, boo hoo, I would have to stay here full time. That would be so hard, right? No internet and no phone. That's the only adjustment that I would have to make. The only adjustment, because I live here full time. This is my life. When other people leave here, they can go back to their normal lives, if you will. Um, but when SHTF happens, it's going to be an adjustment. So if you have your place squared away and it's as comfortable as you can be, then the adjustment is not so dramatic, right? And those are things that people need to think about, right? Want and need. What do I want, which is great, certain things, but what do I need? And you better get those things that you need and get them in place and get things squared away. Tools are so important, right? Tools are so important. So, you got to think about all those things, and that's what it comes down to. We got to do egg count, guys. I know it's the time's flying by here. So let's do this right now. Well, before we do the egg count, we got 313 in the chat. We got 130 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel, and I do appreciate that ahead of time. It really makes a big difference with the algorithm, so the more interaction, the better for the channel, so thank you for that. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. Those of you that are already subscribed and have all notifications, check that because they change it. All right. If you don't know, you're not getting the notifications, check and see if they've unsubscribed you. YouTube plays a lot of games. So it's a choice, do what you got to do. But anyway, so we're going to start with an egg count right now. How many eggs today, and yes or no for Miss Betty White? So I'll give you guys a moment to get your guesses in, and we will go from there. So just give you guys a minute, and I'm going to get a drink of green tea while we're doing that. But lot of things go into it, folks, and it comes down to what kind of effort you want to put into it. And like I said, I laugh when people say, "Oh, you're crazy, you're this, you're that." Well, that's fine. They can think whatever they want. I don't care. I don't. I really don't. Because when something happens, we're going to be in pretty good shape. I mean, we're going to be better off right now if nothing else got done than a lot of people. But I want to be in a lot better shape. That's the goal. So, all right. So, if you had the same exact guess, it's a first time winner because I've never seen this name before. The same guess as Sean Dunn. Sean Dunn with 5 eggs today, and yes for Miss Betty White. Then congratulations, you are correct. All the hens laid today, so that was cool. And so we got 5 eggs today. So congratulations to Sean Dunn. You've won absolutely nothing, but you are happy about it. So there we are. See, there he is right there. So congratulations, Sean. Or Shane. Sorry, Shane Dunn. But anyway, so yeah, no, like I said, just keep doing what you can do. Prepare yourselves the best way that you possibly can. Doing something as opposed to nothing. You're looking for any advantage that you can give yourself. A 2-week supply of food and water, folks. A 2-week supply. That's nothing. That doesn't cost a lot of money. Not a lot of money at all. It gives you an advantage over 95% of the people in this country. Why would you not do at least that? Why would you not do at least that? Right? And here's the other thing, and I've said this for years. Food prices are never going to be as cheap as they are now. And look how high the food prices are now compared to what they used to be, right? Think about that. So if you get stuff today and now you have it, put it in your rotation, have it so that you can eat it down the road, you're going to be just fine. Get yourself in that position. Like with buying 48 cans of tuna fish, you might think that's excessive, okay? But when the time comes, we're going to have tuna fish, so that'll be a good thing. And, that, we may not, what people don't understand too, and I've talked about this a little bit, when SHTF truly does happen, and I do believe it's coming, folks. I'm telling you right now, I do believe it's coming. We're going to be rationing from day one. It's not like everybody's going to come down here and gorge themselves and eat like they ate before, okay? It's not going to happen. We're going to be watching, we're going to figure out our inventory of what we have. And from that point forward, then we're going to be watching everything and making sure that we know exactly how long the food that we have in stock will last. And then as we, if it's something happened in the fall, we could harvest, can everything that we could possibly can, collect as much fruit as we possibly can, all those type of things. It wouldn't be like we're just going to sit on our pile of food and and wait it out. That absolutely not, you know, but you have to be smart about what you're doing. So yeah, you're going to have to work. You're going to be hungry. We're all going to lose weight. And being honest, most of us could stand to lose some weight. you know, it's and that's okay. But you got to really just think about those situations, and you'll adjust like anything else. You're going to adjust to the situation. I want you to think about something, and I've talked about this with my group as well. Okay, I've talked about this with my group as well, and that's why I'm trying to head off problems like with the food type of thing ahead of time. We're all going to be under a tremendous amount of stress, everybody. Okay, so now your lives have been uprooted. You've all gone to your bug out location, whatever that may be, if that's bugging in or bugging out, whatever that may be. You're there at your bug out location, and now your whole lives have been put into turmoil. Every single person is going to lose people they love. People that they love and they care about are going to die. So you have that on top of that. Now you're in a situation where people will try to take what you have because they don't have it. So now you're in on edge that way as well, because you have to protect what you have, what you sacrificed for and what you put away. You have to be ready to do what you have to do. That's a lot going on at one time. And then again, adjusting to the new reality. So, but it's just yeah, constant defense mode. Exactly. Constant defense mode. So you have to you know, be ready for those things, do what you can do, and just do the best that you can. That's all we can do, folks. That's all we can do. So PH prepper watching from the Philippines. That's cool. Well, appreciate you being here joining us. That's awesome. So, but these are things that like I said, when I tell you folks that I eat, live, and breathe this, I eat, live, and breathe this. I think about possible scenarios. I'm trying to head off possible problems down the road. If we could have it where every single building on this site has a wood stove in it, every single building is insulated, every single building could have its own independent solar system, that would be fantastic. Will that happen before SHTF? I have no idea. I have no idea. You know, if we get enough time, it would be, they will be. But what we have to think about right now, again, is controlling what we can control, getting the things here that we need to get here, get things squared away. Even if you're not going to work on those projects, if you have this stuff, the supplies on site, when the time comes, you're going to have a lot of time. You might not have a lot of supplies to do things, But if you have thought about it ahead of time and you go, all right, I'm gonna get this materials there on site and just sit on them for now, and I'm gonna work on that later. That's a smart thing to do, because when the time comes, all we're gonna have is time, and there's gonna be a lot of projects that have to be done and a lot of things taken care of. I mean, I want you to think about something. Let's say, I'll give an example of something. Jamie and Dawn, they have all their insulation, they got all their wiring, they got everything that they need to get their building squared away. And say it's here all on site, right? They got everything here. And SHTF happens, but they haven't got it done yet. And let's say we had 50 people here, and I'm just making a number up, but let's say we had 50 people here, and we took one day and said, okay, today we're helping Jamie and Dawn, and we all went down there and banged out their building. How long would that take to get that done, do you think, if you had 50 people down there working on that project? It'd get done pretty quick. Okay, so that's one of the things I think about. If we have the stuff here, yeah, it'd be like an Amish barn building. Exactly. And we would have to be working together. We'd have to work together. Now, we probably wouldn't have everybody on one project, but I'm using that as an example of how things could come together. And it can come together very quickly when the time comes if the supplies are here. You know, people laugh. I keep adding pallets. I think I added 16 more pallets this week. Okay. I probably have at this point in time more than 130 pallets here. Well, a lot of those pallets can be turned into woodsheds, right? Turned into woodsheds, which would be great. Uh, or when the time comes, the wood can be taken off, and now we got a whole bunch of boards, and they can be used to build something. So, it's it's another option for us, and that's important. So, each time I get an opportunity to grab pallets, I'm going to grab them. And yeah, we they were joking around this weekend calling it the Great Wall of Pallets because it's just like it just keeps growing. But it's all right. Ed, your mentality is basically you can never have too much of anything needed. No, you can't, JJ. There is no such thing as too much. There is no such thing as too much, because I love when people would say to me, give you an example. Some people say, well, eventually your supplies are going to run out. And you are 100% correct. Eventually your supplies are going to run out. But the idea is, right, to make the transition from being self-sustaining by growing, by trapping, hunting, fishing, if you can, if it's there, if it's a viable option, right? Is get you through until you're able to do that. Think about if SHTF happened in the middle of winter, right? December. Everything that's going to be harvested is already harvested, right? Everything that can be harvested is already harvested. So you're going to have what you have, right? How many people are going to starve to death through the course of the winter and through the course of the spring before things come back into bloom, right? That's why the 3 months is so important, because you want to try to get through whatever season you're trying to get through until you can harvest. That's just, but I would highly recommend that if you can, have more than 30 days or 90 days worth of food available to you. The more you have, the better off you're going to be. It just makes the transition that much easier, So if we have a crap ton of food down here and everybody makes it down, which I hope everybody does, the reality is there's another reality. Will everybody make it down? Probably not. Right? Probably not. It depends on how quickly they bug out when the time comes. If somebody delays and doesn't bug out right away, maybe they don't make it down here, or they run into trouble on the way down, or whatever the case may be. There's no guarantee of anything. No guarantee of anything. So the more ready you are, the better position you're going to be in. First sign of trouble, I highly recommend getting out of Dodge as quickly as you possibly can if you have some place that you're going to go. If you're planning on bugging in, make sure you can button your home up really, really well and try to keep as low a profile as you possibly can. That would be my recommendation. But there's going to be a lot of have nots out there that are looking for the people that have. And there's going to be safety in numbers, big time safety in numbers. So if you have a marauding group of 20 people, right, and they're hitting farmhouse after farmhouse because you got dad and mom and a couple of kids, easy pickings, right? Easy pickings. But if they come up against an armed group of people that are organized and are squared away, they're not going to, they may try them, but they're going to lose people and they're going to go on to greener pastures and easier pickings. That's reality. That's reality, folks. So it's all whatever you decide, what choices you decide to make, you guys can do whatever you want to do. All I'm going to do is I'm going to encourage. I'm going to show you by leading by example of what we're doing down here. I'm showing you that, yes, people can come together. Yes, they can work together and have a common goal and and be and do that. So just that's kind of where I'm at with that, guys. So but you have to have a community. If you don't have a community, I'm going to mention one more thing before I jump off here. And I said three things are going to happen after an SHTF event, folks. Three things. All right, guaranteed, 100% guaranteed. Three things are going to happen. Number one, you're already going to be part of a group and you're going to get to your group. Okay. That's number one. That's one thing. Number two, you will have to join a group of people to survive. It may not be the type of people you want to be around, but you may have to do it in order to survive. Or number three, you're going to be dead. Period. That's your options. So the way I look at it, I would rather choose now the people that I want to be around and what kind of character they have and what kind of people they are and what their makeup is and their character and if they're decent people. That's what I want to be around. I don't want to be around the lowlifes and the junkies and the drug addicts and the rapists and the pedophiles and all those type of people. Because you may have to throw in with them if you're not part of something already. And you'll do it because you have to. So anyway, be safe, everybody. Keep prepping. Do what you can. Do the best that you can and take care of your business. All right. I will talk to you all later. I hope everybody is safe and just keep doing the smart things. Have a great night, and I will talk to you later. Prepping Nurse One out for now.